Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to make my first ever keynote speech. With that in mind, before I travelled down from the Highlands, I did test the speech out on my own children at home. You may ask, how did it go? The answer is related to the fact that I have asked for the exit doors to be locked, so that you can't use the excuse of a major best friend emergency to walk out after 2 minutes. So hopefully you do find this useful. Also realise my fatal flaw in not having notes, so I'm going to have to kind of stand at a slightly strange angle to speak. My name is Robert Quigley. My role actually has changed since I put the slides together. I've now got responsibility across Highland for digital learning. Previous to that, I was a head teacher of a primary school. My remit is to support schools with digital learning, so it's kind of general how to use digital tools, but most crucially for today is the online safety agenda. So I'm going to share with you the Highland story in terms of the connections between gaming and gambling. I think it's quite useful to give you the digital context in Highland, just so that it sort of sets the context for what I'm going to speak about. Highland is one of the first authorities to have rolled out one-to-one devices. Back in 2017, we rolled out one-to-one Chromebooks for children from P6 to S6. These are devices that go home with the children. Smaller schools, primary schools, have got one-to-one across P1 to 7. Larger schools have got 1 to 5, from P1 to 5. As I say, the key bit is that the devices go home. So children actually, in some cases, have their first digital device at a relatively early age. We also have our own Google tenancy, which I'm not going to get into the complications around that, but what that means is that we can control the settings in terms of accounts and what children can have access to. The relevance for that in terms of today is that at the same time as the Chromebooks were rolled out, I went to my boss and said, we need to support these devices with the online safety work. And that's absolutely crucial. We can't give these devices, we can't introduce children to the concept of digital tools without the support around that. During COVID, it's a kind of very quick, I suppose, thing about COVID, as a kind of evidence of the fact that Highland was leading the way, digital learning didn't stop literally the next day. Children took the devices home and continued working, so it was seamless. So I mentioned about the fact that we rolled out devices and the online safety support was provided in parallel. I think that I'm the only person across Scotland who has got a specific remit to support online safety. And as I say, that's absolutely crucial in terms of supporting children. What I've discovered is that actually if the Chromebooks went away tomorrow, my work is still equally as important because it actually now isn't about the devices. It's not about the one-to-one. It's not about whether it's a phone or a tablet. It's actually about supporting the children and schools and parents around online safety. As you can see up there, my remit has been to support schools in terms of training, to go and visit schools, to support parent sessions, and just basically to provide that support around any aspect of online safety and also gaming. When I started out doing these sessions, it started off just being about online safety generally. I quickly realised that the gaming agenda was so big it had to be treated as a separate entity. And this is moving towards where this project with Fast Forward and the Hub began. When we started talking about gaming, we realised that children were actually engaging with gaming in a different way that they were engaging with social media, the way they were engaging with other aspects of the digital world. So the Highland challenges, as I saw it, around gaming and gambling, pretty much standard across Scotland. Lack of parental understanding and potentially lack of interest. The parent sessions that I do, whether it's online safety or gaming, are really poorly attended. Why is that? Fear, lack of confidence, perhaps it is being oblivious to the fact that young people are engaging in the online world. The loot box connection was absolutely crucial for us, and that's where a connection really started to sort of kick in. Making that connection between that introduction to early gambling. The need and the pressure, speaking to young people, to get that best item in the game, whether it is Fortnite or FIFA. The pressure, we've mentioned already about advertising, that absolute pressure that's all around. You can't escape it when you're playing that game. A really interesting trend, and my kids hate the fact that I do this job because I always talk about them, but my son had a birthday party, invited 10 friends. Each person gave him a £10 Xbox voucher. Bing, £100 in his hands. And I could just see he was thinking, excellent, I'm going to spend it there. And unlike if it was cash, you could kind of redirect him in a different way. It was absolutely clear in his head. Feelings of temptation, compulsion, boredom, escapism. The rurality factor. Highland is the size of Belgium. We've got kids from Wick all the way down to Kingussie, Aviemore, and in some cases, really small communities. The gaming world is their social aspect. Just pick that bit up, and it seems to have merged badly. The fact that pocket money, this was taken from the Financial Times, Roblox, or Roadblocks and Robux, Fortnite V-Bucks, are now the most commonly spent pocket money. I don't know if you can see the amount, but it equates at the moment to £6.18 per week, so £321 a year. That's, again, a lot of money for children to be spending potentially on aspects within the online world. So, why the partnership with Fast Forward? I needed to have more specific research and expertise around the key issues of gaming and the fact it was leading into gambling. I needed to understand the nuances around how young people play games and how things like loot boxes impacted. And I needed to understand better the link between online safety generally and online gaming. So Donna and I had our anniversary of meeting just 2 days ago at the Online Safety, Internet Safety Planning Day. And I just saw Donna's name come up and thought, this looks really interesting. It links to me what I'm doing really well. So I made contact with Donna and we started to talk. We then began discussions around possible partnerships, which ended up being a series of sessions between parents, carers, the adoption parents, foster parents, social workers, children's service workers. And this started to roll out across Highland over the start of this current year. This engagement has continued, Donna and I constantly speaking, and it's just been a really, really valuable partnership. As I've said already, we provided these training sessions, and they weren't just delivered by Donna or myself, it was done collaboratively. And that was really challenging for me because it was letting go of my baby, if you like. The work that I'd done was almost saying, I'm not the expert. So Donna was able to give that really valuable expertise and insight into the connection between gaming and gambling. Impact so far, I think as you can see there, the main headline is increased confidence. I've got confidence, I've got more confidence, the parents, the schools, the pupils are definitely starting to see more confidence around what these links are. We haven't solved that problem, we're not going to solve the problem necessarily overnight, but we've got a much better understanding. Increased parental engagement. Unfortunately for me, my online safety sessions are not greatly attended. Donna's session that we did collaboratively got a pretty good turnout. So either it's me or it's the actual subject that was particularly appealing. So there are early signs of increased parental understanding of that connection between gaming and gambling. We've raised awareness, particularly between the kind of child protection safeguarding issues. We also worked with our child protection officer, making those clear links between looking for the early signs that might link to child protection. Really strong connections now. I feel we've got a really good partnership that's genuine. It's not just something that we did as a one-off. We're already talking about how we're going to move this forward in the future. I think that's pretty much for that one. So yeah, so that's really my kind of story. It's about that partnership. It's about a realistic partnership. It's about reaching out and actually finding that knowledge. And that's what I'm finding with the work that I do, is that I'm not going to have the answers to everything. And we stumbled upon this partnership, but it's been so powerful, and I'm really excited about the future. Don and I were speaking about potentially creating a podcast, creating future training sessions. So it's just reaching out. So I guess my plea would be, to reach out to whoever it is and actually seek that advice. It's almost modelling what we preach. Parents potentially are uncomfortable or unsure about this kind of digital world. And, for myself, I'm not the expert, so it's reaching out and finding that support wherever it might be available. So thank you for A, staying, and B, letting me speak today.